Welcome to Creativity Cooks. Today we are making French toast muffins. To make this recipe, you will need the following ingredients: 4 slices of bread, 2 eggs, 5½ tablespoons of milk, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 tablespoon of confectioner's sugar, which is purely optional. You can also add some pancake syrup to this recipe as well. Again, that is also an optional step. Once you have all the materials and supplies, let's begin. Let's begin first by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's also prepare your muffin pan at this time. This recipe will make about 6 French toast muffins, so we are going to use 6 muffin cups, and we are going to use basting spray or butter to baste this pan so that once our French toast muffins are baked, they will not stick to the pan. I'm using basting spray, and I just grabbed some paper towel and I'm just using it to just spread that basting spray around all of the pans. Next, you can please ask your parent or guardian for help with this step. Use a knife and we are going to cut up our slices of bread into some small cubes. You want to be very careful if you're handling a knife, especially a sharp knife. You want to keep your fingers completely away from this blade, and we need to probably go and ask our mom or dad for help with this step if you're too young to be using the knife. So if you ask your mom or dad for help, fantastic. If you're doing it on your own, please be careful. And we are going to cut these up into some small chunks, and I cut them lengthwise, and I'm turning it around to cut it widthwise as well, so I have some great chunks. They don't have to be perfect, so don't try to measure it out. We just need to have them smaller than the big slices of bread. Next, we need to grab a medium bowl, and in our medium bowl, we are going to add our 2 eggs. We are also going to add our milk, followed by our brown sugar and cinnamon. If you have the Creativity Cooks meal kit for this week, that brown sugar and cinnamon are most likely mixed together, so you can add the package of brown sugar and cinnamon to this recipe. And then we are going to continue by adding our vanilla extract. The vanilla extract, again, is purely optional. It does give some extra flavor to these French toast muffins. I've also made this recipe using a strawberry extract, which also tastes really good. Again, it's there to add the flavor, and if you don't want to have any of that extra flavor, that's perfectly fine. You can omit it if you want. Once you have these ingredients mixed into this mixing bowl, you will need to grab your mixing spoon, and we want to mix this up really well. This would also be a great option if you have a whisk at home, to use that whisk because it really helps to blend up those eggs. But if you do not have a whisk, a regular mixing spoon is perfectly fine to use. You just need to put a little bit of extra arm muscle into this, so you mix it up really well. And if you have any of the cinnamon or brown sugar stuck to the side, you can also use your mixing spoon to scrape some of it off. And once this mixture is all mixed up, we are going to slowly add our bread to this recipe. Remember, we need to have this bread that is sliced up into these small cubes. If you didn't slice this up and you just use a full slice of bread, this could just be a regular French bread recipe. But because we're going to bake these, we are going to submerge this bread into this egg mixture, and that's why we are cutting it up and putting it in here. Now, one of the things that you have to be very careful of is that the bread is getting wet from the eggs at this point, so you want to gently mix them. You don't want to mix this too hard because those chunks of bread will break up into smaller pieces, and we do not want that to happen because we do want to have some structure to this when we put it in our muffin pan and we begin to bake these. So please, I know you guys are really eager, but just gentle arms now of mixing that bread into this mixture. And once you have the bread mixed into the egg mixture, we are going to add just spoonfuls of it into these muffin pans. Like I said, this recipe makes about 6 French toast muffins. On our recipe, I said to have it about half full, so you can about half full it, maybe 3/4 or so. It's going to rise a little bit once the egg starts baking with the bread, so we don't want to fill this up too much. And if you have any extra mixture, just go ahead and scoop it out. You can top it off on top of the ones that you've already had. If you feel like you have too much and you need to add a 7th or 8th muffin to this to your muffin pan, just please don't forget to baste those muffin cups first if you choose to use them. And as I'm doing here, I'm just have a little bit of extra egg mixture into my bowl. I'm just scraping it out and adding it to my muffin pan. And once this is all filled up, we are going to bake this in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. After it is finished, you want to gently remove it from the oven, leave it on the counter to cool for about 10 minutes before you start eating it. And while you are about to eat it, you can top it off with some confectioner's sugar. You can add some pancake syrup. You can add whatever you would normally add to a regular French toast or pancake and absolutely enjoy this recipe. Thank you guys so much for cooking with us. We hope you make this recipe over and over again. And if you want to make more, ask your mom and dad to help you double this recipe, and it will help you guys to make French toast muffins for the whole family. Thanks again for cooking with us. We'll see you guys next week.